from Game Talents.
And this is confusing. I mean, you're on the blue side and you have to double ban jungles away from wushuang because you're just not confident in March's ability to pick them up. Kindred especially is just so dominant because of a neutral control on the current patch.
Looking at the lineups really quickly, no changes from these two teams so far. You mentioned March, he's still in the jungle. Snoopy, he's in the mid lane. Saint, game 1 of the summer split of the LPL. Like you mentioned, running 2 of their starting 5 roster players.
And they banned Lucian as well.
Lucian and Caitlyn going to be taken away, which means that Twitch is left open, which was banned out by Saints previously. Now the option of picking this one up.
And this is just confusing. I mean, you've pretty much emptied 2 champion pools, jungle and AD carry, into B tier, whilst leaving up the pick of top lane and mid, and they're the areas that you really struggled. I mean, the Lucian didn't look like a problem at all. Interesting pick ban so far from Saint.
You know what we really saw XQ... all we really saw XQ do on Lucian in that previous game was just farm. Like, sit in the bottom lane. We saw the heat map come out halfway through the game. There was just a blimp on that bottom side of the jungle close to the inner turret where Lucian was standing for a good 15 minutes. I mean, if he's going to do the same thing...
I mean, Twitch is available, but PentaQ showed pretty good prowess on the Ezreal. I don't think that he's going to be all that mad being forced into that. Savoki's Trundle was very good, and Trundle can ruin Twitch's day. Really makes it hard for him to navigate team fights because, of course, he doesn't have gap closers. He just has a quick walk.
Twitch is that first pickup coming from Saints so far. We have to see what Game Talents decide to respond with their next 2 pickups. Azir still left open. Victor still up and available. These are 2 champions, I believe, that are almost 100% picked and banned so far in the early phases of Summer Split of the LPL, as Karma and Azir are going to be locked in for Game Talents.
Yeah, so some good wave clear out of the first couple of picks. Also a bully lane down there in the bottom that Twitch is going to have to be run into. March insta-locks Elise. It's like, I had a bad game first time around. I want to redeem myself.
Picks up that champion, even with the likes of Graves still left on the board. Well, a lot of junglers actually being banned out, like you mentioned earlier. Kindred, Rek'Sai, Nidalee taken away. All the really S-tier S junglers have been taken away by those bans. As Ekko's going to be locked in by Saint here. They look to try and throw him up into the top lane and show GimGoon what Acorn could do.
Potentially, MSI showed us that Ekko was quite a good counter pick to Azir. So we'll see whether that is going to be maybe Snoopy taking into the mid lane. I expect it to be top, definitely, but you do have to respect the power of flexes in the current meta.
We're still waiting for Game Talents to pick up their next 2 picks here. They've already shown their mid laner and possibly their support in Karma, as Lucian is going to be the lock-in for wushuang in the jungle, as Fizz is going to be the pickup as well. That could definitely be flexed to mid or top, but should be going top lane here with the Azir pickup.
Yeah, it certainly should be. So, you know, we're going to see another carry Fizz top lane. Also with an Ignite here for GimGoon so far, so he wants to kill Acorn up there. Acorn didn't have the best game 1. And wow, that would really be something. This team composition would have very low wave clear. Of course, you get some out of your Elise because of the Spiderlings. You know, Hurricane on Twitch, that's going to help you out a little bit. But with what is an Azir, most likely Ezreal composition coming out with a little poke, this could be quite oppressive if Game Talents do get ahead. Saint, of course, have great snowballing potential still and fantastic team fight. So we'll see whether they're able to make that work, especially if they lock in a Janna.
Janna and a Kassadin here. Does look like Snoopy wants to show Republic how to handle this champion. It was Republic that played this in game number 3 against Snake. And now it's going to be Snoopy taking up against Republic in game number 2 against Game Talents here. As Game Talents only have their 80k left to pick up.
Oh, Sivir. All right, cool. That would be interesting as well. The reason being is that maybe not the kind of champions you'd expect to synergize well, but the thing that I love to mention is that Azir shoves your front line onto your back line, and Sivir's able to make full use of that with the AoE crits from Ricochet. So I do like the 2 champions together. Also means that even though they've got lower damage coming out of jungle and potentially top lane, I mean, Fizz will be able to delete someone, but no AoE damage. They will not lack for damage as this game progresses against a Kassadin Twitch. So they scale equally as impressively. And we'll see whether Game Talents are able to make it work for 2 games in a row, or whether Saint can hit back. They need to, because that was a very lackluster performance first time around.
And you know, if you covered all the names in this game and showed this to me 2 months ago and told me this was an LPL game, I wouldn't believe you. Janna and Karma being picked up as the 2 supports here with all the supports in the world left up and available for these 2 teams.
Yeah, and you know, you have to have a look at the fact that Janna is going to be able to hard reset a team fight, and that's what they need out of Saint. No one else is going to offer that from a support position. And Savoki is just a lane bullying AD carry. They want to keep this Twitch down, so even though a little bit peculiar in what we expect to be initiation, they certainly fit in the current meta.
Coaches are going to shake hands as we glide onto Summoner's Rift for game number 2 between Game Talents and Saint. And we are on to Summoner's Rift for Game 2 between Game Talents and Saint here. As we are back up, and it is Game Talents currently 1-0 in the lead of this best-of-3 series. A very clinical Game 1 from the side. Saints really have a lot of cleaning up to do in this game number 2 to try and contest Game Talents in the early game and try and get their foot in the door in the LPL Summer Split.
Yeah, they certainly do, and you know, more than anything, they just need to go away and prove that they can actually put on a good performance, because that was very disappointing, especially when you have pretty experienced members.
GimGoon's going to continue with his fervor
so
of battle.
further on Fizz, I don't mind, because you know, with all the auto attack resets and the like, you're able to stack it up quite quickly. Fizz also has Ignite, so he's looking to kill Acorn this time around. Double wind speaker support, that's interesting.
Both supports able to dish out a plenty amount of shields to their teammates.
And it's a heal out of the Janna versus AoE shield, you know, just get it across everyone. Nice Aegis there to be in effect. And it's going to be a lane swap one more time. And we saw how well this worked out the first game for Saint. So we'll see whether they can replicate that success.
Replicate the success
of the 27-minute loss.
Don't think that's one they're going to try and imitate again here, Spawn.
No,
or one that they want to.
It's up to them, man. They can do whatever they want.
Saint so far, though, looking to try and push wushuang and GimGoon off of these double golems here. Lucian trying to stick around, does get the smite off, picks up the big camp. Immediately popping a couple of potions, trying to keep himself healthy.
But can March even get the big camp? Like, this is the thing. They've traded again, and he will be able to pick it up, but they're in trouble.
Lots of damage going down onto March. Exhausted already. The Elise has to flash over the wall to try and get to safety.
That is so telegraphed out of this Saint lineup. I mean, they start on top of 2 wards, and they're still being pushed around here.
Savoki heading insult to injury, picks up one of the small raptors as well. March was able to hit level 2 off of the other small raptor, but he's still playing on useless. Savoki's able to knock them out of the jungle one more time.
Just leave the bottom side of the jungle. I mean, you've already lost to the lane swap because of that. You're behind in tempo. You have less major camps. Your top laner still hasn't picked up anything, but they were persistent with it, and Savoki just bullies them off. I mean, that is a huge advantage already for Game Talents.
On the flip side of the map, GimGoon and wushuang, they were able to just run away from the red buff, took only these small raptors.
Got the whole raptor camp and the small area of the red buff. So they got the 2 little sentinels and they got a whole raptor camp. So right now they are so far ahead. Pretty much a major camp up. And there's just no access to that bottom side of the map again. I mean, Acorn's going to go back up into top lane, level 1. And wushuang's just going to continue to fly through this jungle as only Lee Sin can.
He's picked up level 3 on the Lee Sin as well, so a little bit further ahead than March at the moment. He's going to be able to move in towards his side of the jungle instead. Looking to try and pick up some more camps for himself as Snoopy. He's been pushed in towards this mid lane so far by Republic. A little bit of a repeat coming in from the last game.
So let's have a look at what's left available for the jungles. I mean, Lee Sin has a whole raptor camp pretty much to be able to pick up. He has the whole red buff and he has a little Krug. On the side of the Elise, she's got the red buff and the small Krug. That's all she has available before she has to join this push. So wushuang should be able to come out pretty far ahead in this. Not to mention that they also have similar tempo on the turret. So even though Saint going to be able to charge this one down, see whether they are able to get back for what could be a quick dragon, or whether they just decide to push through and try and take a gold lead.
Saint to take down the turret first, looking to try and continue pushing for that second turret. wushuang, he wants to try and take down the dragon here. Another Infernal Drake spawning here for game 2 between Game Talents and Saint. There's GimGoon working to try and take down the bottom lane outer turret. Saint already working to try and take down the top lane inner turret. Savoki and wushuang trying to take down the dragon by themselves.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage at this stage of the game, however, Fish, they need to be careful. They call in your little friend in Fizz for some support. Looks like they will be able to take down the dragon, and they don't even lose top lane turret for it. Only a little bit of damage going across. So, once again, Game Talent's just a huge advantage in this early game.
The lane swap not going so well for Saint. Once again, second time in this best of 3 series they're going for the swap. Second time it's Game Talents who react to it fantastically. Next dragon to spawn will be that Mountain Drake. So once again, these tempo style dragons coming up for Game Talents.
Yeah, and one more time, you just can't afford to lose it. So this time around, they haven't made the mistake of going towards a weird 2v2 lane. Looks like they're just going to go for a standard lane swap, put as many people in there as you can, shove it out. You can see that PentaQ kind of knows they're down there, so he's doing the same now. He's shoving out his lane. And we'll see whether they're able to get a somewhat even early game. Because even though right now wushuang is pretty much 2 major camps ahead, gold pretty equal across the board.
Taking a look at that mid lane really quickly. Once again, Republic able to bully out the Kassadin a little bit. Kassadin's already gone home and picked up the Negatron Cloak for himself. Should be going for the Abyssal Scepter to give himself a little bit of magic penetration and magic resistance as well to resist some of the damage coming out from Republic. But
also
Saint
gives you cooldown, right? So, like, one thing that is really, I guess, important on Kassadin is he gets 20% cooldown reduction pretty much for free off Abyssal and Boots right now. And then you can go towards the Zhonya's Hourglass, get a luxury Lich Bane, and you kind of have it without having to invest into your mana items. Which means that you can still get your Rod of Ages in there. So I think that new Kassadin does have some interesting build paths you can go. You still want that 3-item core of Roar or Abyssal as well as the Zhonya's. But after that, you can really open up the build path to some interesting things.
Meanwhile, away from the isolated mid lane, both Game Talents and Saint looking to continue pushing towards the outer side of the opposite lanes.
This is twice that Saint have actually stuck around. And it's for quite minimal advantages, because another creep wave will march up now, but I don't think they're going to be able to secure the turret, although they're sticking around for it.
Getting lots of damage down on towards it. Like you mentioned, that second wave has collapsed. It's below half health now. Karma is in the lead to try and get towards this turret to push them away. They get a significant amount of damage on towards this turret, but not able to take it down.
So actually, that turned out better than I thought it would. Thought that Karma would just be able to speed PentaQ off the platform and be able to get there, but instead they actually get pretty significant damage onto the tier 2 structure.
And although it does look like Game Talents are the ones that are slightly ahead in this early game so far, they're only about 600 gold ahead of Saint for now. Not a massive gold lead only 7 minutes into this game.
No, definitely not. And you know, when you have the likes of Kassadin and Twitch, champions that don't necessarily have the best laning phase, you'll probably take that, especially after you watch game number 1 between these two teams. So Saint doing a much better job this time around. Although, once again, it's a level 6 Lee Sin, stalking out the jungle.
And we touched on Kassadin's items earlier, the Negatron Cloak pickup. We look at the other items for the Twitch as well. He's looking towards that Yomu's Ghostblade very early on, as he was looking towards going towards the Rift Herald there. Nobody from his team to help him out. He did mention Elise as well. wushuang, he's been waiting inside of March's jungle, deep inside of enemy territory. He's level 6.
There we go, Submarine.
Submarine coming in from the Twitch onto Republic here. There goes the slow coming down. This is going to knock him backwards, so XQ takes the turret here. Lots of damage down onto the Twitch. wushuang picks it up with 1 proc of the Q. As Sivir, he gets knocked in towards the team. Has to flash away. GimGoon's here as well. Puts down the Ignite and some damage onto the Janna. But he's going to live as GimGoon getting jumped on by 3 members of Say. A double kill onto the Elise. They trade it 2 for 1.
So an overreach there out of Game Talents. They try and bite off a little bit more than they can chew. Probably should have just taken the free kill onto the Twitch, but instead they don't go for it. As we take another look here, great scoop by Republic one more time. He's however, and can't get much more out. And after this, they could have just successfully disengaged. Instead, they go for the play onto Shu. Very hard to tie down Janna. and the rest of the team just keeps funneling in and gets made punish.
March shows up right on time as well to get that cocoon and to be the extra backup that Saints really needed in that mid lane. And just like that, even though they picked up 2 kills for 1, Game Talent still have a very slight lead with Savoki down in the bottom lane. Oh, sorry, PentaQ, who was down in the bottom lane, pushing it out as that fight happened.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, it was PentaQ that stayed at home this time, so he's got the big CS advantage over the Twitch. You know, Sivir able to mow down those waves. And, you know, we already mentioned it, but wushuang's still a little bit stronger than his counterpart, has got completed jungle item. So he's going to be able to continue to own this bottom side jungle.
It's not just the minion advantage that we saw coming out from that Twitch, it's also the experience advantage. Is now Acorn looking to try and jump onto 3 members. The collapse is coming in. Snoopy, the level 7 Kassadin, trying to jump onto the remaining members of Game Talent. Still going as aggressively forward as possible. Is able to slow down the Karma, but not able to get a pick out of that.
Yeah, so in the end, that's a good collapse out of Saint, but nothing really happening there. They do burn Snoopy's teleport, although they still want more.
Savoki going to get jumped on here. The flash forward from the Elise, not going to get the cocoon off, as Savoki's able to dodge that one. But that does mean Saint have control of the blue side of Game Talent's jungle.
Better ideas this time now for Saint, right? They try and make the proactive play. They teleport in. They stick with it. They force them right back to their turret. Remember, that turret is quite low.
Yep.
So they should be able to push up here. 20 seconds until Dragon. They'll get the hard reset they're looking for and then try and reconverge on that and not give another way to Game Talent. So much better play this time around. I mean, they're still 1,000 gold behind in this early game. But it's definitely not the same kind of deficit that they're at in game number 1.
Dragon has final respawned here. The Mountain Dragon is up and available. wushuang, though, he's on the other side of the map right now, taking away the Grob from March. He's still trying to stick to his guns, do the same thing he tried to do in game number 1, which is take away as many jungle camps as possible from this Elise.
And look, Elise has got 2 kills, but he's still down 12 CS. And that's pretty much all jungle monsters right now for wushuang. So he's still quite strong. See whether he goes continually aggressive. I mean, with the amount of magic damage on the enemy team, wouldn't be surprised to see a Hex Drinker pick up. Will continue the aggressive build path and allow him to dominate. I mean, we saw some unique builds out of MLXG at MSI when he was picking up the Lee Sin. Pretty much the pseudo bruiser builds with things like more of Malmortius and Black Cleaver being picked up with GAs and Deadman plates in there to give a little bit more survivability.
Have to see what wushuang picks up in combination with his Warriors Enchantment jungle items so far. We'll have to see when he goes back to base, what he decides to build. We did mention the Dragon did respawn earlier, but none of the teams trying to contest it just yet. Just letting it sit there and brew for a while, it seems.
Yeah, maybe waiting for top laners to have teleport pack available. You can see that Acorn doesn't really want to show himself on the map right now. That puts him at a huge disadvantage because he's down once again about 30 CS.
March did look like he was trying to catch out Savoki towards the blue side of Game Talent's jungle. Did miss the cocoon one more time, but he's going to be able to take down this Rift Scuttler, giving himself a little bit of vision here towards the Dragon Pit. Helping Saints out a lot if they decide to contest for the Dragon buff anytime soon. Acorn's teleport is back up soon, like you mentioned, so could be a good time for Saint to look for that.
XQ runs past the Lee Sin, who is waiting in a warded brush. So they were potentially looking for the pick there.
XQ's really far behind. He's level 6 on this Twitch.
Yeah, to the level 8. As I said, you know, just all that extra farm that PentaQ was able to pick up. Now collapsing onto Savoki, but here comes Lee Sin.
This cocoon's going to go in. Savoki taking a lot of damage. He's not going to survive this as March picks up the kill. But there goes the Rat. Going to get taken down by wushuang. Teleports are being procced left, right, and center. March, he's going to get jumped on. PentaQ actually has to flash away from Acorn and Snoopy. They're trying to stick to him like glue. They're going to be able to take him down. The ultimate does come out. wushuang has already picked up a triple here. He's looking for more. Stu, he's trying to run away. He's behind the Dragon Pit, looking to try and take down Stu, and he's going to be able to do just that. Slows it down, hits him a couple more times. Janna's trying to run away, but wushuang will be able to pick up this kill. Oh no! He was waiting for it. The tornado comes out.
Alright, so only got the double in the end, but you know, that was great Lee Sin play. He waits out the exhaust, is able to pick up a kill pretty much by himself as GimGoon and Acorn stalking each other on opposite ends of the map, and that was a immediate assassination of the Twitch. That's what happens when you're this far ahead on Lee Sin, so credit to the Lee Sin main right now, running around the Rift, putting on the style points. I know that you're waiting for SOFM to get off the bench and Snake and do something similar, Fish, but right now we're just seeing that a dominant early game jungler can really take it over. let's take another look at this. So they get the jump onto Savoki. Good cocoon, and the amount of burst damage that comes out of Elise is huge. But look at that. He's just deleted. And from there, on the back end of the fight, he just stalks out member after member. This is what I was talking about. Flashes over, gets the slow, nails the Q, and then waits out the exhaust to be able to retake it back in and pick up March. Meanwhile, on the top end of the fight, Republic and Acorn were doing their best to be able to win out on that one. And I mean, we saw the end of this one. Shu just leads him on a happy chase and gets the outplay at the very end. But still pretty decent play.
As we go back onto Summoner's Rift. Lots of damage being put out by Saint there in the mid lane. One thing that really stood out to me in that was the fact that with Savoki taken down, PentaQ was just jumped on by Snoopy and Acorn. They couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, so that is one thing that is always going to exist. I mean, Sivir, very low mobility apart from the movement speed that she's able to grab, especially with no summoner spells. And good luck trying to outrun something like a Kassadin in any case. So you can understand it as now he's just showing off. But actually goes for a little bit more of a tanky build. Acknowledges as how much magic damage is on the other team, going towards something like a Spirit Visage.
On the flip side of the map, March picked up the Luden's Ekko in the jungle, so he's getting a little bit of ability power from that item, a little bit of extra damage on that Elise as well, and does have the Giant spell to give him a little bit of tankiness too.
And here we go.
Acorn going to get jumped on by wushuang here, puts a little bit of damage down with the Sonic Wave Resonating Strike. Ultimate does come out from Acorn, gets the shield for himself, but here's Savoki to tether him and slow him down. PentaQ's here as well. They're going to be able to take down Acorn, and Game Talents pick up a kill.
Yeah, so nicely played there one more time, but this time it is actually Saint that have the rotation on the top side of the map. They understand GimGoon has no wave clear, didn't even go for a Balmy Cinder, so they'll trade the life of their top laner for a turret, and that's worth.
And on top of that, Dragon was not taken after that previous fight, which means it's possible that wushuang could take away the Mountain Dragon for himself. He's already working on it. Republic and Savoki looking to take down the mid lane outer turret. They take that down with ease. And it's going to be XQ that returns to try and pick up the remainder of the minions crashing on towards his side of the map.
So in the end, Game Talents take a lot more than just one kill. They get the mid lane turret, you know, they push this wave into the bottom. They also pick up the dragon, as you mentioned. So still a good news story. Want to be able to take away the red buff as well. And this team is unrelenting in their pressure today. I mean, looks like they've gone away after night one of the LPL, done some soul searching, and come back and said, we want to be able to dominate the flow of the game.
They made a couple more mistakes in this match against Saints so far, but they have a much greater gold advantage in this game. They're 4,000 gold ahead of Saints, just 16 and a half minutes into this matchup. They picked up 2 dragons for themselves. The next dragon to spawn will be another mountain dragon, so Game Talents are looking to try and put on even more pressure in this match.
Yeah, they certainly are, and with a couple of mountain dragons, Baron would certainly be an appetizing meal to look at. XQ finally able to pick up a buff for himself. Does also have that Yomu, so early spike for the Twitch. See whether he's able to make any plays with it.
On the flip side, PentaQ looking to try and pick up his Essence Reaver. Does have all the components ready, but hasn't quite completed it just yet. Went for his Swifty Boots first. Now he has picked it up as well as the Zeal item.
Whoa,
so a big spike for him.
Yep.
As we take a look at the mid lane as well, Republic does have the Snatcher's Tooth as well as the Negatron Cloak. So nice pickups coming in for the Azir, looking to pick up his Negatron Cloak. This Spectre's Abyssal Spectre. Can't do English today.
That's all right, mate. We understand. It's one of those things when you're born and raised speaking English, sometimes it's a little bit hard. Make no mistake, guys at home. See, it is his first language. Don't let him fool you. But you know, this game has normalized a lot. There are big CS discrepancies in all the lanes right now for Game Talents, and that's why they do have the 3,000 gold lead. But this time around, maybe the scaling is on Saint's side.
Ultimate coming up from PentaQ here. wushuang looking to try and get a kick off. They are able to kick the Twitch backwards, but he's spotted out by the E coming in for Lucian. Getting taken down incredibly low. Savoki taking a bit of damage, but Saint, they're definitely losing this fight as all the members are now collapsing. Great ultimate from Republic to keep people at bay. As Acorn, he's now trying to run away to Slippery Ekko, trying to get as far away as possible from the rest of the members of Game Talents. As GimGoon, he's going to chase him down, as well as the Lucian. Getting lots of damage down onto this Ekko. He has to flash over the wall, trying to get back in towards the parallel convergence. Jumps on the PentaQ, but it's not enough. The Sand Soldiers will poke him out. That's 2 kills for Game Talents.
Yeah, it certainly is, and now they look towards the Rift Herald. So once again, they've got this objective focus play in mind, where even when they pick up a kill. They want to turn it into something straight away. That was a little bit better play out of Saint, but, you know, XQ caught the fish in the end, and that's not what he wanted. Deleted off the back end of the map after doing so much to live through wushuang's burst. And this is actually starting to get really impressive out of game talents. And Snake's no longer playing sloppy League of Legends. I mean, their goal's not necessarily where they would want it to be, but time and time again, GT is just able to get their player.
That was a 19-minute Rift Herald as well. Now that the last 20 minutes in total, GimGoon has a massive buff all the way to 40 minutes in this game. And Snoopy, he's going to get jumped on now. wushuang is behind him, lands the Sonic Wave. We're not going to follow up with the Resonating Strikes. They just trying to take some damage onto this tower instead.
Yeah, he was looking for the kick. I mean, Rift Herald and Kassadin's always going to be a slippery sucker to be able to get your hands on. So instead, they'll just take away some of the damage on that turret and a major camp one more time. But once again, this Game Talents roster, they're pushing the envelope every single time. They understand that they're the team with Lucian and Fizz, probably not two of the better scaling champions in their role right now, but are definitely strong at this stage of the game. So they just want to keep building on this lead, because if you go into a late game with a 6,000-7,000 gold lead, doesn't matter how weak your champions are, you're still going to be up until items are normalized. And right now it doesn't look like Saint are going to get towards that stage of the game.
And speaking of where they are strong, let's take a look at those items quickly. The Abyssal Scepter already picked up by the Azir in the mid lane. Got it this time.
Yep.
2 Spirit Massages picked up by the side of Game Talents as well. GimGoon and wushuang have picked those up as well. So lots of tankiness to magic damage on their side, which is quite effective against a team with 3 magic damage dealers.
Yeah, completely agree. Actually, their item builds are really nice at this stage, and it means that early penetration probably needs to be looked at out of at least the Kassadin. It's not going to be able to come through all that easily, however, as he is 50 CS down and hasn't really snowballed any of those kills. And they would kill right now to be able to redistribute some of March's gold, because he's got the Abyssal Scepter, but not really who they want to have it.
March is going to get kicked back by wushuang there. He's able to repel over the wall, but does get tethered down by the Karma. He's going to get taken down. Savoki picks up that kill, and that allows Game Talents to put some work onto this mid lane inner turret.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of a shake of her head there. They will be able to pick up the mid lane turret. And once again, this team, lanes are just prepped already. They pick up 1 kill, transition it into a gold-based objective, push that lead even further out. Now it's 5,000 gold. Dragon going to be available in about 50 seconds. And honestly, their vision control has been superb. Their skirmishing has been great. And they just look like so much more improved than what they did on night number 1. Like, I cannot stress that enough. This was a team that Snake, who were looking pretty ordinary, took to the limit. This time around against Saint, they look much more refined. And
if they're able to pick up the win here and pick up the best of 3 series 2-0, it'd be a very impressive week 1 for Game Talents. Formerly EPA pick up 2 wins.
I mean, they only had 3 the whole season, Fizz. The fact that they would have 2 in week number 1 would be fantastic. But yeah, I agree with you. And it's actually good to see a young team. Like, we're used to teams like Snake and QG bursting in through the LSPL. People kind of forget about the likes of King and Garmty that were relegated relatively quickly. But this time around, EPA came in, they defended their spot, and now they're improving and starting to take those steps, and they are a young team. So credit to them. New brand, new season. Looks like new life has been breathed into them.
Saints, on the other hand, first game back in the LPL in Split 2, the summer split here, and they haven't been able to impress at all. 2 players of their starting 5 only playing here, with 3 substitutes coming in.
Yeah.
It's just looked like a disaster so far.
Well, it was a complete roster overhaul, right? So we were expecting Otto and Chimin to play, maybe even STYZ to play. They went with the starting lineup that you can see with XQ, Shu, and, March, and Snoopy on your screen as well. So I think that they're going to have to do what RNG, I guess, fell into, and that is find the right mix of players and kind of decide where they want to put their strength right now, because Acorn, he hasn't had the best series for himself. Snoopy's definitely not lived up to anything right now, so we'll have to see how it works out. And even March, even though he has like a promising scoreline this game, 4-2-0, really was a double kill off a mistake of Game Talents that set him up for that success. So you're right, disappointing first game for the team, but is very early in the season. Of course, only day number 3. And they have some time in a long LPL season to get it together.
And Saint with a team, 2 games in a row, came in here with a strategy. They tried to do the lane swap. 2 games in a row, Game Talents are the one that come out ahead from that lane swap. So just not quite working out for them as XQ looking to try and submarine onto Savoki here. Pops the Yomu's Ghost Blade, had that Hurricane as well. Lots of damage down onto the Karma, but the ultimate from Sivir and the Flash saves him.
That's a better play. So that is straight up a good play there. They're able to get the shield onto their Twitch, open up with the Yomu's as well as the ultimate, burn an ultimate and a summoner spell. So that's really nicely done there. See whether they're able to utilize that, you know, now that there is no on the hunt. Look for a team fight or something. GimGoon and Snoopy have a little bit of a biff.
Might be a brawl in the mid lane though as the Q is connected coming from wushuang. Good ultimate from Siu. Knocks wushuang back after he tries to go forward with the W. But here comes more teleports into mid lane. Both of the top laners coming in towards the fight.
Fizz
both
cancels.
of them cancel it.
No, so Snoopy came through. Fizz actually cancelled, so GimGoon going to have the advantage in that respect. And Snoopy just has to run back into that bottom lane. So the game of chicken won by game talents there. Awesome ultimate out of Shu, however. I mean, you called it out there, but stops Elise in his tracks, means that he can't flash behind the Twitch. Looking for that insect one more time.
And still overall 5-8, 2 game talents at the moment with a nice score for themselves. They're 1 tower ahead of Saint as well with 3 dragons to their name, and they're about 5,000 gold up here. Just 25 minutes into this game with the Locket of Iron Solari being picked up by Savoki as well, and the massive item spikes coming in onto PentaQ is going to be massive as XQ now. He gets jumped on. PentaQ picks up that kill for himself. And Game Talents look to try and steamroll down that mid lane.
So they try the same play one more time, but this time they don't have the backup needed. Meanwhile, Acorn is in a lot of trouble.
Looking to try and put some damage down onto this Ekko. The Ignite's been put down by the Fizz. Tricky plays coming in for Acorn. He's going to keep himself alive. The last tick is not enough to take him down. But still, GimGoon really oppressive down in this bottom lane as Game Towers looking to try and take down this mid lane inhibitor turret. Take it down with ease. Snoopy has to jump away, and they're content with just the tower for the objective.
Yeah, they certainly are. So now they'll back away on the side of Game Talents. I mean, they don't want to push their luck. We already mentioned, but there is some good snowball potential on Saint. If they ever do start winning a team fight, the resets will come out of Twitch, can go back into stealth, start chasing you down, as well as this Kassadin. So I like the patient play out of Game Talents. As I said, they look a much more refined team tonight.
Certainly
but that was just an outright mistake. I mean, if you're a Twitch, you have to really have your flanks water before you try and make such an aggressive play. And the Lucian was just ready for him this time around. And they've been spotted again.
He wants to do it one more time here. Republic's going to get jumped on. Pops the Emperor's Divide. Keeps himself alive for a while longer. Here comes a teleport to the mid lane, but XQ, he's already taken down. GimGoon working towards the back line. He's on top of Snoopy can't deal with 4 members of Game Talents as GimGoon still chasing down Acorn and March here. That's 3 kills already for Game Talents so far. They're not done yet. The Fizz, he's still diving into the back lines here, but slowly Acorn should be able to run away.
Yeah, he's able to get out, and you know, XQ right now is the embodiment of if you don't succeed, try again. But if you don't even sweep the mid lane before you go for it, it's just not going to work because they spot the rat going into stealth one more time, kick him into the Azir wall and delete him. And that's a 5v4 after that point. I mean, it's just not good enough play out of the AD carry of Saint.
Now it's a 7,000 gold lead for Game Talents at the moment. They've already taken down that inhibitor. 2 inner turrets left available up on the top and bottom side of the map with Dragon respawning in a minute. This is going to be a difficult mountain for Saint to climb if they want to get back into this game.
Well, it was only a 4,000 gold lead before those 2 plays just came out. I mean, they were slowly losing control of the map, sure, but they didn't need to make 2 such over-aggressive plays without setting up. I agree with the ideal behind the plays. I mean, you want to look for picks with the Twitch, now that he's got the Hurricane and the Yomus, but you need to at least sweep for vision. This looks much more promising this time.
He's looking for it again onto Savoki. Gets a little bit of damage down, but not quite enough. The Solari and Shield coming out from Karma will be able to keep Savoki alive. But still, Saint looking to try and get the submarines play with XQ. Not quite able to find it then again.
Yeah, so this time at least they walk him underneath. You know, they light up the Karma one more time. You want to go for the support. Able to get rid of the ultimate out of Sivir. I mean, you can look for it again as soon as the Twitch has the ultimate back available. So that's a better play this time around, but...
wushuang with the kick back here. Still, he's stuck between Elise and a wall. He's going to get taken down by Savoki. Teleports already been channeled by Game Talents here. They're looking for more. Fizz is not going to connect his ultimate. Well, wushuang jumps into 4 members, jumps immediately straight back out. Republic trying to jump in with his soldiers, not quite able to land onto the remaining members of Saint. They're trying to hold their ground in between the jungle and their turrets, but they will lose their support.
Yeah, so their Shu just makes a mechanical error. I mean, you should be able to tornado him off, and if you can't get the tornado, you should at least be able to monsoon him back. Instead, gets kicked into the team, and that's probably going to mean Baron picked up right now for Game Talents.
Game Talents do have the Mountain Dragon, 2 Mountain Dragons to their name, so this is going to get taken down incredibly quickly. wushuang able to snipe that one away. As March, he's going to get taken down as soon as he comes back from Repel. This is a slaughter coming out from Game Talents. They take down Acorn as well. And now they're going to recall with a massive gold lead for themselves and look towards Saint's base.
Yeah, and you know, they get caught between, do I go for a steal or do I back away? They definitely weren't looking to fight that one. 2 members get picked. That's going to be a 10,000 gold lead now and a Baron buff with mid inhibitor already down. Game Talents now looking to pick up another dragon just for good measure and then march it down bottom lane.
The Ocean Dragon will be the 4th dragon being picked up here by Game Talents. Just 13 minutes into this game, the Elder Dragon's going to be the next thing to
That's
spawn.
actually a creepy symbol. Like, the other symbols, I'm like, yeah, all right. Like, I understand exactly what they mean. Good clarity in game design. The Elder one's just, like, it's a stuff of nightmares. I don't know if I like it that much.
I think Rusty says it's big. It's just so big.
Yeah, it is. It's huge.
Every time I see Rusty playing a game with Elder Dragon, he just says, it's too big as Republic. He's going to get jumped on by the remaining members of Saint here. They shut him down. March almost gets taken down in return. The Game Talent's not too fussed about losing their mid laner just yet.
Yeah, they certainly aren't because, you know, mission already accomplished. They've pushed up mid lane. Now they're pushing up bottom. They take a turret for it. wushuang, I don't think I agree with your decision making right now, but that's all right. You're very tanky. Looks like they'll be able to break the base in a second area.
We did do his job, able to stop them from getting down towards this bottom side of the map fast enough. XQ popped that Yoma's Ghostblade looking for something. Pinkboard actually coming down for Savoki. He doesn't want to get jumped on by that Twitch anymore.
And you can see how scared Savoki is of Twitch. Turns around, puts a pink ward directly in front of him. And they're just going to look to continually push in here.
Going to try and get some damage down on towards these inhibitors. GimGoon and wushuang able to take down the top lane inner turret as well. Submarine coming in for Twitch one more time. Sweeper Ward.
You're just going to kill him.
They're looking for it. XQ take a lot of damage. Savoki, he picks up that revenge kill down in the bottom lane. They get 2 for Game Talents, and now it's turned into a 3-on-2. Snoopy has to run away. wushuang not able to land that Sonic Wave. Republic trying to get some damage down onto Snoopy here. The Fizz is going to come in. Acorn has to ultimate back out of the fight here, but now the Nexus turrets, they're already being worked on by Game Talents here. They take 2 picks into the bottom lane and use that to take another victory off against Saint here. They pick up the series 2-0.
And 2-0 in under an hour. I mean, 27 minutes, 31 minutes. Game Talents absolutely decimate Saint in their first LPL summer matchup, but, you know, that was a much more competitive game, but Saint just rushed it. XQ time and time again were looking for those aggressive plays on the Twitch, but they just didn't set up enough in advance to be able to, I guess, facilitate success for it.
And let's take a look at this game one more time from the very start, the same way we did last game. Once again, it's Saint that started the lane swap. They're the one that initiated that strategy. And once again, it's Game Talents who are the ones that come out ahead from that strategy and able to pick up a massive lead early.
So this time they got chip damage on the 2 outer turrets, and that should have been a good thing, because what they were trying to do is trade out these neutral objectives for gold-based objectives. Okay, cool, we'll give over an early Infernal Dragon. What we're counting on is if we get 2 outer turrets for it, that's 2,000 gold that the other team doesn't have, and it's worth more at that stage of the game. We'll snowball our lead. What in reality happened, however, is they were losing kills as well at the same time as the Dragons, and these big CS discrepancies started to build up. And you can't really game plan for that. You have to think that you're at least going to be able to go even in farm, and 2 games in a row, Saint weren't able to accomplish that.
2 games, Saint not able to accomplish it. 2 games at the very start of the LPL. Saint once again not on the scoreboard, but Game Talents coming back in look very strong here. Not as impressive in game 1, although they picked up a much cleaner victory, but game 2 really showed their prowess, setting up more plays for themselves. And one thing I really want to touch on from the side of Saint, they went with the Twitch pickup very early into their drafting. The first pick for them was Twitch. They used that submarine so often, but were only successful a couple of times with that strategy.
Yeah, and it's because he was behind, right? I mean, if that's a 4-0, Twitch stealthing on top of your support and lighting him up, that's a fantastic play. When it is a 0-4 Twitch with 3 wards spotting him out before he can even get in position, and there's a Elise in to be able to keep him visible the whole time, I mean, it doesn't look as impressive. So not all the blame can be on XQ. The whole team needs to do a better job at controlling vision. But that's what impressed me. I mean, GT, they ran teleport on Azir. You should get punished for that, especially when the other team is running Elise. I mean, you should get destroyed. But Republic able to hold down that mid lane versus Kassadin. Their vision control into the bottom half of the jungle. wushuang going massive. One more time. Like, that is something that you should be able to control as Elise. Lee Sin should not be able to walk into your jungle in that manner. But, you know, the early advantage, it allowed them to be able to set up these plays time and time again. So this was a team effort out of GT to be able to control Saint and not allow them into the game.
And let's talk about wushuang very quickly here. 2 games in a row, able to control out Saint's jungle. Very deep and very aggressive with his champions there. All the S-tier S junglers have been banned out in the game number 2 here. Rek'Sai, Kindred, Nidalee taken away. He just picks up Lee Sin and says, yep, I can play this champion.
Yeah, well, it is the champion that he was known for. So, you know, I'm not surprised there. And a lot of people have a pocket Lee Sin. I mean, we see it come up with Swift. People even like Spirit in the EU LCS. I mean, Dardoch in NA LCS is also a great Lee Sin. And there's MLXG, you know, Clear Love. They're all Lee Sin players as well. So the fact that Lee Sin is starting to see a little bit of play is fantastic. And he showed that in the early game, Lee Sin jungle is incredibly healthy, quickly, and is he's a kill jungler, right? You are looking to set up those kills for yourself, and then you snowball it into those good things like vision control. So he played it very impressively. The thing about Lee Sin is he still has like a 25 to 35 minute dip where you just can only look for the kick that will win you the game, and he doesn't do as much damage. But if a game goes between 25 and 30 minutes, like, he's one of the best junglers still because of his early game damage.
So let's look forward into the summer split of the LPL here for both Saint and Game Talents. What can we expect coming out from Saint moving forward? Because they showed they had a strategy set up for both games here against Game Talents, but once it faltered, it just looked like they stayed and been a little bit too defensive and just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, well, any team that has Acorn on it is going to have a plan, right? I mean, he was the analyst for LGD, and even though they weren't executing, they definitely had plans as well. He was a top laner for LGD before that, and Blue, who was a very smart team. So Saint they need to find a starting 5 that work for them. And be able to move on from there.
Well, let's take a look at the MVP for Game 2 there. It's going to be going on over towards PentaQ there. 25% of the damage share for his team, which is really that 80k they needed.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, he was able to push out waves incredibly effectively and just saved his team with his ultimate whenever Twitch was trying to stealth in on top of them. So I think that's a much